Hello everybody, Mary Transformer here again, and today I'm reviewing a big one, the Titans Return Leader Class Soundwave. Now this is pretty clearly supposed to be a blaster, considering he is a boombox rather than like a little tape recorder like Soundwave was. But I can kind of understand the reuse, you know. They are basically the same thing, and they have basically the same gimmick, so it makes it pretty easy. And at least for once, Blaster's the main body, not Soundwave, since almost all the air times it's usually Soundwave and then Blaster's a remold, like with the Fall Cybertron version. Now I do like the mode. It does very much look like Soundwave, and this is at least different detailed from how Blaster was, because Blaster has more like a circle speaker, while Soundwave has more, very similar to his recorder form actually. And of course you have the big Decepticon symbol, the clear plastic that kind of comes from the toy. This is the Hasbro version, so this is kind of based on how the toy looks. So he has the yellow visor and he has the clear front, which I don't usually mind, but one problem I do have with it is, I'm not sure you can see, how well you can see that, but the little goldish chrome that's going around the kind of the outline of it is wearing off really fast. Like, I've only had this figure for a week or so, and it's already wearing off, most of it's already worn off. I'm not sure what's going on, what it's made out of, or if it's just like the usual gold stuff that flakes off easily. And I haven't touched it much. Most of the time when I'm touching it, I'm hitting that button and grabbing it by the top, so I'm not sure what's causing it to flake off so fast. I don't even see flakes on my finger or anything, so I'm not sure what it is. It definitely wasn't like that out of the box. But yeah, one other thing is he does have a gap here, because this is basically his chest right here, and they kind of just made it left looking like a robot chest, and they probably could have folded out a panel or something to cover over that, but nitpicks. And as you see, he does have the gimmick of the tapes being able to go in. And he does come with this big block here that can go in, and it kind of looks like guns or maybe lights or something, and they can go in there. And if you have any of the cassettes, like here's Rumble, in their like data recorder modes, I guess they can go into. And just for size comparison, there's Rumble. And if you actually still have the old Universe Ravage that came with Hound, he can go in there too, although he slides around there, but you know, you get the idea. You could put Ravage in there if you so wish. And again, there's Ravage is a G1, about G1 sized one, so he could fit. You see, he used the G1s as well, about size. And for one more size comparison, here he is next to Universe Hound, since I had to get Ravage out. So yeah, it does have this big block as an accessory. He also has his cannon, of course, which can be stored on the back of it. That's one thing that the gimmick hurts. You do get it with this big bump where the gimmick stops right about there. But you can also use it to store his weapons, because his iconic blaster can go there, and then what's clearly Blaster's gun can go on the back too. Pagan right there. And of course, Soundwave does in fact have a Titan Master who looks like a little miniature Soundwave. He's got the visor, he's got the face mask, and he's even got little speakers detailed into his legs. And it does look a lot like Soundwave. Only paint he has is on his legs, and he has the visor, the mouth cover painted. The visor's not even painted. But he does have the little crest that Soundwave's known for. And of course, flip it around, and you do have a little Soundwave head that looks like he's missing half of his head. There's a reason for that, but we'll get that in robot mode. Now you can actually store the Titan Master in this little tape thing. The best way I found to do is turn the Titan Master head around, kind of get it in there, and then just kind of force his head up into clip into there. Then make sure his feet lay in there as much as possible. And you're going to want to insert it with the Titan Master feet facing inward. Or basically you want these circles facing outward. And you can actually store the Titan Master in there. Now this isn't mentioned in the instructions, but it fits in there so perfectly that I think its purpose is to do that. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But like I said, it fits so perfectly. So yeah, I really like this tape recorder mode, especially with the little buttons actually painted in. But he does have another mode. He actually has a base mode. Best way to do that is get all the accessories off and out of the way. Although they will be involved in a moment. So how this works is we're going to start by flipping down these panels here. And you can see it's already starting to kind of form a base. We can also see most of the robot. These ramps will flip out, and these can actually connect to Fort Max if you so wish. Then you're going to come back here You can see these are actually tabbed. What will be the legs later are actually tabbed into what will be the arms later. So you have to untab those. Rotate arms all the way around 360 at the shoulder. Bring the arms upward and bend them back. Now the official way they want you to do this is bend them back like this and have the guns flip out. And that does leave some tight master ports. I personally like to flatten it out a bit more and do that. Just looks a bit better to me. Then you can take this big cassette block that it came with, and it will tab onto the top of the bars. And the last thing, oh yeah, you're going to come to here, the feet, what will be the feet later. They are on a double hinge, and then flip them out. And then come to the back part, and you can flip up these little panels. Do the same on this side, flip them back, and they actually are different things. This side you have kind of more like speakers, and this side's more like wires and detector kind of things. I don't know. And finally, hit the open button, flip up this little clear panel in there. There's another clear panel it's really hard to get to. Really got to work your nail in there. One moment, may have to. Yeah, it really does not want to come, because it's actually pegged on there too for some reason. I don't know why they decided to peg it down. I guess that way it wasn't flopping around, but basically it's a little screen that flips up for a tight master use. And finally, I'm not going to flip it out just because it's being a pain right now. You can take the cannon, and there's actually a little peg on the front here that can peg into. You give a little mounted area. And then the gun you can put in a lot of places. There's a peg hole here and here. There's peg holes up here that I usually peg it into on the yellow parts. And there you have Soundwave in this mighty bass mode. And it's actually not bad looking bass mode. It's decent, to say the least. You know, you could have tight masters everywhere. There's little pegs everywhere, all down in here where the guns can be mounted. There's pegs on these little red parts from the stand. There's pegs up in this clear part from the stand. There's also pegs in the back of the arms here, although you got just do like this. But you can have them peg in there, or you can even have them just sit right here. That's why they'll just have like the Tight Master sitting there. And of course you can have like a command deck from up here, just have the Soundwave Tight Master sitting there. And it's pretty well armed too. It's nothing. It's one of the better base modes I've seen from these figures. I don't really care much for how the Optimus one looks, and actually still looks a little better than the Fortress Maximus one in some ways. I don't know, this does look like a legit base. It doesn't look like just a robot kind of splitting out. I mean, there are clearly robot-like legs here in the arms, but at first glance, you could easily pass this off as an actual base. But the base mode is not what we're here for, although I do like it. What we're here for is the robot mode. I'm sure everybody wants to see Soundwave's robot mode. So, we're going to just start taking all the accessories off. It is a pretty simple transformation. Flip it all the way, just basically start flipping all the base junk that's in the way. Flip it back in, flip those in, flip these little guns away, and straighten those out. And now we can start getting to his robot mode. Oh, there is one thing I want to show you. You can still fit these inside the legs, but the ramps are actually removable because they can get in the way sometimes. And there's another reason I want to take them off to show you later. So we'll get to that in a moment. Easiest thing to do right now is to go ahead and grab the blue part here and keep a firm grip on the centerpiece, because this part will actually untab from there, come out on the double hinge, and tab into there to form his leg. Then make sure with this red piece, have the double hinge all the way down here and flipped out inward like that. Bring the leg down. Go ahead and turn it. You're going to want that, what was the bottom of the base in the boombox mode to the front. Start flipping this in, and they actually painted the inside of this. That's pretty nice too. All kind of little details in there. Actually tab it in like this, and flip it in, and it'll actually tab in like that. Come back to down here, gotta flip that out of the way to flip out the foot. And you can flip this out for a heel, I guess, but it's not really strong, so I wouldn't really recommend relying on that. Then what I like to do is take the leg, move it forward one click to kind of hide the mushroom peg slot. And that should give Soundwave a straight leg. So we're going to do the same thing over here. Go ahead and bend the foot into place. Untab. Retab. Go ahead and tab that in. And flip this part in. all clicks in. Bring the leg down. Like I said, bring it for one click to kind of get it in the right straight leg place. Yeah, legs are a bit bulky, so kind of hard to work with. Flip that out of the way. Flip out the foot. Flip that back in. Now we have a rather tall robot. Make sure the hinges on the feet are straightened, otherwise he can't stand. Come up to the top. Flip these down for his arms. And on the insides you can flip out the hands. Now I do want to talk about this real quick because you might notice earlier there are these little tab spots, these little hinges on the back of his back, and that have no real purpose in ADR mode. They don't really store anything. And they seem to be for the purpose of storing these ramps, as these ramps have one hole, one tab, one hole. So when you actually line them up, they tab in perfectly, and there's two of them, so you can put both ramps on here. And both ramps are exact same mold. They're not even reversed. They're literally the same thing. And it can be a bit tricky to get in, but one moment, it's easier to get. That one's a lot tighter. But yeah, you can see you get both ramps kind of just sitting there. And you could just leave them there and just have them have like a little bit of this standing out. But another thing you do is actually take them, flip them both upward, then bring the handle down, and it'll actually hold them up like that, securing them in place. Now granted, if you want to store the skinny blaster's weapon here on Soundwave's back, they do get in the way of that. But besides that, it's a good way of storing the ramps without them having flopping around inside the legs. And I kind of like it. It can get in the way of transformation, though, as they are blocking the helmet, as I will call it. So, I'll get to that in a moment, though. I'm going to finish putting accessories in. Take this piece, just drop right in. Go ahead and come back here, get the panels out, those panels out of the way. Open this little panel up in there to reveal his helmet. Go ahead and bring that on out. Flip that back shut. Flip these ramps back up, fold that back down. I'm going to go ahead and take the cannon. There is actually a peg up here, so you can actually have this iconic little weapon on his shoulder, as expected of a Soundwave. And finally, we're going to take the head, have it in head mode, kind of on up here, peg it in. And like almost all the later classes, he does have a helmeted mode, because of course the head looks a little small and it's got like this brain stuff exposed. He does have a much wider face since he doesn't have a helmet for him, so what you're supposed to do is actually take this, the back part's actually supposed to peg into the robot, the Titan Master legs, and then fold it down. And it certainly looks like Soundwave, but you might notice that gap. Well, if you push it in all the way, and it does fill in the gap where his face looks like it's right, and now causes a gap back here. And you can't get both. So I'd rather have the gap back there and have his face actually look right. And there, finally, we have Soundwave in his mighty robot mode. Alright, now we get a good look at Soundwave in robot mode. For size comparison, here is actually Deluxe Universe Hound. The new Legends Rumble. I'm gonna call him Frenzy. You are Frenzy. And the Universe Ravage, who is very, very small, but I think it's actually kind of size accurate for Ravage. So you can see, yep, definitely a big leader class. Which is probably my only real complaint, and that's just a personal thing, because I'm a scale nut when it comes to Transformers. So yeah, leader class is definitely a little too big, because leader class for me is stuff like Jetfire and Ultra Magnus. But he's just such a good looking Soundwave. Besides the personal gripes in mind of him having a yellow visor like the toy and the clear cassette holder, he definitely looks like a classic style Soundwave. He's big, he's bulky, he's blocky, he is everything that Soundwave should be, and he looks powerful. And very threatening. Oh yeah, still has his gun too, so let's put that in his hand. Come on, take your gun. There we go. Which again is clearly Blaster's rifle, but I don't know. I think I could paint this up and make it look a bit more, at least in Soundwave's colors, put a silver tip and put a little red stripe on it. That might help a bit. The Takara version I know does have blue on the shoulders, a red visor, has a bit more silver paint on the shins, I think. Not sure what else is different other than the colors. But I think he's a very good looking Soundwave. Like I said, I do have some gripes, but most of them are just personal gripes for me. And even then, I still really like this figure. The only real complaint I actually have of him is, again, this chrome paint, whatever this is, flakes off really easily. And that's not a personal thing. This shouldn't flake off that easily. It shouldn't be rubbing out after only a week. And granted, I could probably fix it myself with some yellow paint, but it's still really annoying. So, articulation-wise, his head is on a swivel, even with this helmet on, but it's not really ball jointed, but it can still... About the helmet, it does have some ball jointiness, but who wants to see Soundwave's brain? You do get a soft ratchet swivel at the shoulder, and a much louder ratchet going outward. Swivel, mushroom peg swivel here. And again, a light ratchet for the elbow, which is very nice. Nothing at the hands, but at least they aren't hauled out like Jetfire's was. Though, nothing at the waist, unfortunately, but I think that's because this gimmick goes down out to his butt, and he has a big butt because of it. These panels do flip out of the way to give leg room, so it can go all the way forward, can go that far back, can go outward that far, Do get a swivel, and a good knee, and all these are like soft ratchets, which are nice. You actually do get full foot articulation because there is a hinge for going forward and backward on the foot. It goes about 2 clicks, 1 click forward, 1 click backward. So you can actually get some stepping poses, if you so wish. And it actually did go left and right. He actually has a pivot too, and he even has this red part that comes out that kind of give the illusion of mechanics moving, still being connected, instead of just a floating out foot. So let's see if we can get this going. On the spot articulation, and yeah, like I said, you can actually get him stepping forward or something. And it's a pretty nice little pivot too. It's really nice, at least even if he doesn't have a waist swivel or anything. At least he has something to kind of that you don't really see too often with Transformers anymore. Especially an ankle pivot. You definitely don't see ankle pivots much anymore. Alright, come on. Straighten out that foot. That's the only thing is his foot, because of how it works, likes to collapse in easily, especially because of that double hinge. So you do gotta be a bit careful with that, because you might have a Soundwave toppling over on you. Overall, really nice robot and really nice figure overall. Like I said, my only real gripe is this paint chipping. Everything else I think is really nice. The transformation's a lot of fun. The base mode's actually decent. I do a lot of a thing against the boombox mode, but it still feels like Soundwave to me. It does feel different enough from Blaster to work for me. And especially since we are now getting all of his little buddies, I am very happy to have this Soundwave. All I'm waiting now on is all I need now is a laser beak and a rumble. And no, you're still not rumble. So yeah, I think he makes for a good display piece. Very nice. I also know he's actually about the same size as the Masterpiece Soundwave, so if you don't want to pay the price of Masterpiece Soundwave, but still want something in your collection, this could actually be a pretty decent stand-in, especially if you fix the paint colors. But yeah, really nice details all over, really nice paint, well, really nice paint except for this one part. And just a really nice figure, especially for Soundwave and Transformers fans. So I highly recommend him. There's really not anything majorly wrong with him. So it's been Nerdy Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and hope you have a good day. Take care.